What up, people? Chris here to talk some UFC 147. UFC 148. My bad. Silva vs. Sonnen 2 post event. Didn't get a chance to do this video last night because, as I said on my predictions video, had a Science Minds radio show to do last night after the event. And time-wise, I just didn't have time to get a video done. And by the time I was done with the show, I was just spent. You know what I'm saying? It was just a long day watching an event like that. A lot of excitement. And doing the show itself. I was just tired, and kind of lounging around today. No rush to do this. But anyways, overall, the event, I guess I would say not the event overall, but the pay-per-view itself is really good. The preliminaries, I don't really got anything to say about them. They were pretty uneventful. Pretty much everything went to a decision. Even my guy Melvin Guillard, it looked like Melvin felt like he was still training at Greg Jackson's with that strategy. It's probably for the best, play it safe against a guy that could submit him, but it wasn't his most entertaining fight, but he got the win. But as far as the main card, I was disappointed in Ivan Menjivar's performance. I thought he would win, plus I thought it would be an exciting fight. He lost, and his performance was lackluster. Just really didn't do much of anything. Mike Easton got the win over him, deservedly so. Surprisingly, Damian Maia got the first quick stoppage of the night. It was an injury stoppage, of course, but he was the one causing the action. He was going for a takedown, so whether or not it was a bit of an accidental fluke win, in a way, I guess you would call it, he was, I guess, making the action that caused the injury. So Maia gets a win, regardless of the fashion it happens. Chad Menez stops Cody McKenzie in no time. Figured Menez would win. I didn't think he was going to win that quick, but I'm glad he did. Got the body shot. Cody McKenzie, no surprise that he can't really take a hard body shot looking at the guy, but Chad finishes him off quick work. Kung Lee Patrick Cote, I was wrong on this one. I figured that Kung would look good early, like he usually does, and would gas out, and Cote would finish him late. Well, I was right on a couple things. Kung looked relatively good early with striking, as he always does. He gassed out, but Cote wasn't able to capitalize. Cote could just never really get going on track. Although I thought he did well in the second round. I thought he kind of switched momentum in the fight in the second round, but wasn't enough. Even as gassed as Kung Lee was, Cote just couldn't capitalize in the third. Kung landed a couple of good strikes, got a couple of takedowns in that third round as well. So Kung Lee finally gets his first one in the UFC, and good for him. Cote had an opportunity presented to him to get a good win in his return to UFC, but couldn't capitalize. Co-main event of the night: Forrest Griffin, Tito Ortiz. Much like their first two fights, entertaining fight, competitive fight, close fight. Could make a case for either, but just overall, I just like the fact that this was a good, fun fight. It was a good co-main event of the night. I know a lot of people were complaining about the fight beforehand, like what significance is there to it? Who cares about this fight? But Tito wanted it, Tito got it, Forrest wanted it, and they both made it an entertaining fight. I thought that Tito won the first round with takedowns and just landed a few more strikes. Thought Forrest won the second round, even though Tito dropped him. Thought Forrest came back and won that round by just landing a lot more shots because Tito was completely gassed by the second round. And he had him and Kung Lee, I know they weren't training together, but you would have thought so based on their cardio or lack thereof. But and third round was an interesting one to score because once again Tito dropped Forrest, but then Forrest came back and landed more shots. I thought that Forrest actually had won the fight before it ended, but then as the fight ends, Forrest Griffin runs off like he does before, the old run Forrest run bit. And so I thought to myself, well, Forrest thought he lost, so if he thinks he lost, maybe he did lose. It kind of threw me off. Of course, Forrest got back in the cage. We got to the decision, and surprisingly to me, it was unanimous for Forrest. Now, I'm not shocked that Forrest won, got the decision. I thought it was a close fight. I thought it could have went. I thought that, Forrest didn't have to win the fight. But like I said, based on his reaction, he gave the impression that he thought he'd lost. So when the decision was announced, a lot of people at the place I was at, the sports bar I was at, were pissed. As it sounded like fans were at the event as well. Or maybe they're just turned off by Forrest running out of the ring the way he did. But, yeah, Forrest gets a win. I have no problems with the decision. I thought it was a close fight. I was surprised, like I said, it wasn't a split decision, but Forrest got it. Tito gave whatever he had left. Made a pretty good fight of it, Like I said, he was gassed out, but he still fought all three rounds. And it was a good, fun fight. Good lead into the main event. As for the main event, I was ready for this one. I guess you could say it did or didn't live up to expectations depending on what you expected. I expected another back and forth battle, and in a way it was. Just a shortened version of the first fight. First round, Chael did what he said he was going to do. Went in there, took Anderson down, stayed on top, worked the ground and pound, looked for a couple submission, attempts, but was looking for some things there. And Anderson really didn't do much of anything in the first round. It just looked like a continuation of the first fight, minus the finish. Second round, Chael had more trouble getting Anderson down this time, and ended up being his downfall somewhat. I heard that Anderson grabbed Chael's short somewhere in there. I missed that, in all honesty, and watching at a bar, I didn't get a chance to see any replay of that. But Chael, I don't know if it was out of frustration or what, goes for a spinning back fist, misses terribly, no surprise, puts himself on the ground with it, and kind of beginning the end. Anderson lands some ground and pound. Chael was able to get back up, but Anderson dropped him, I believe, with the right or left. I don't remember which one was exactly a punch. And then got on top and just landed some strikes. Or he also landed I don't know if it was after the spinning back fist and miss or the second knockdown, landed a knee to the midsection. Initially, I thought it was to the head, but replay showed it was a legal knee to the body. But Anderson landed some ground and pound. The referee stops it. As far as the stoppage, I thought, you could say it was fair stoppage. You could also argue it was premature or a little bit early, but I thought Chael was doing the best he could to defend himself at that time. He had his hands up. He was trying to defend the elbows and the punches. So I thought it was as good as defense as he could do at that moment. But he wasn't fighting back, which I don't know if the ref was calling for him to fight back or what. But he wasn't. He was just kind of defending and taking shots. So, in all honesty, though, I think it was just delaying in every way. It doesn't look like Anderson Silva was going to be getting out of that position anytime soon. He was just going to keep dropping the hammers. Much like the finish of the Anderson Silva versus Yushin Okami fight. Very similar, the end. And also the Marquardt fight. So, Anderson Silva gets a win. Second round stoppage. Puts a, definitive stamp on the rivalry, I guess you would say, because he won both fights. Although, even if a third fight ever was made, it would still be intriguing because of how Chael fared in the first round of this fight before he just lost his mind, whatever that spinning back fist. But either way, Anderson Silva caps off a great night of fights. I thought it was a really good event. Like I said, the preliminaries, not so much, but the pay-per-view portion, I thought was really, really strong and ended on a high note, which you love to see when you have such a highly anticipated event. And it definitely was. Like I said for my last video, UFC 147, I got to the Sports Bar Go, went in the main room, no one was in there. This time, there wasn't a lot of people when I got there because I got there early, but standing room only for the most of the night. Just packed. So, big event, and I'm glad that it was good. So, hopefully, casual fans tuning in will tune in more in the future. UFC got some momentum back with this event. Hopefully, it'll carry over to a injury-laden UFC 149 card. Anyways, want to hear your guys' thoughts on the card? Any of the fights in particular? Who did you have winning Forrest Griffin, Tito Ortiz? Or what do you think of that decision? And, of course, thoughts on the main event and anything else in general. Science of Science Radio Show. If you missed it live, you can always check out Podcast on Demand. Link in there for each part of the video, as well as link to scienceofviolence.com, Science of Violence on Facebook, and my Twitter. That's it for now. Till next time, I'm out.